Ibn Battuta. The Journey of a Lifetime. In the bustling city of Tangier, Morocco, on February 24, 1304, a child was born into the family of Berber descent. His name was Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Battuta, but history would remember him as Ibn Battuta. Little did anyone know that this young boy would grow up to become one of the greatest medieval Muslim travelers and explorers. Chapter 1. The Birth of a Voyager. From a young age, Ibn Battuta showed a restless spirit, always yearning for adventure and eager to explore beyond the familiar streets of Tangier. His father, recognizing the thirst for knowledge in his son, encouraged him to pursue his dreams and learn from the world around him. So, under the guidance of his mentors, Ibn Battuta set off on his first journey at the age of 21. He traveled through North Africa, crossing the Sahara into Egypt, where he studied under some of the most renowned scholars of the time. His insatiable curiosity led him to Mecca, where he performed the Hajj pilgrimage, and then to Persia, Iraq, and India, each destination bringing with it new lessons, experiences, and wonders. As Ibn Battuta's travels continued, he encountered different cultures and customs, each one leaving a lasting impression on him. In Constantinople, now known as Istanbul, he marveled at the grandeur of the Byzantine Empire. In Mali, he was mesmerized by the wealth and sophistication of the Empire of Mansa Musa. And in China, he was dazzled by the advancements in technology and trade. With every step, Ibn Battuta grew more fascinated by the world and its infinite possibilities. His travel journals, filled with vivid descriptions and personal reflections, captured the imagination of readers, earning him the title of the greatest travel writer of all time. But Ibn Battuta's voyages were not without challenges. He faced harsh weather, bandits, and political turmoil, risking his life for the sake of knowledge and discovery. Yet, these obstacles only strengthened his resolve to continue his journey and fulfill his destiny as a global explorer. Ibn Battuta's legacy lives on, inspiring generations of travelers to embrace their wanderlust and experience all that the world has to offer. His birth in Tangier was not only the beginning of a great voyager, but also a testament to the power of curiosity and determination. And as his journeys took him to distant lands, Ibn Battuta proved that a single step can open up a world of endless possibilities. Chapter 2. Pilgrimage to Mecca. Ibn Battuta was a young man of 21 years, full of ambition and wanderlust. He had always dreamed of adventure and exploring the unknown. So when he heard of the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj, he knew that this was his chance to embark on a journey that would change his life forever. With his heart filled with excitement and determination, Ibn Battuta set off on the long journey to Mecca. He rode on a camel, with only his faith and a sense of adventure to guide him. The desert winds were like music to his ears as they carried him across North Africa, through vast deserts and fertile oases. The scorching sun beat down on him, but he persevered, for he knew that the journey ahead would be worth it. As he made his way through the bustling city of Cairo, the majestic Nile greeted him, flowing like a celestial artery. The city was alive with vibrant colors and sounds, and the aroma of exotic spices filled the air. But Ibn Battuta did not linger for long, as his heart was set on reaching Mecca. He traveled through the Arabian Peninsula, passing through bustling cities and awe-inspiring landscapes. The pyramids of Giza stood tall and mighty, like silent witnesses to eternity. Ibn Battuta marveled at their grandeur, and it only fueled his desire to see more of the world. But this journey was not just a mere pilgrimage for Ibn Battuta. It was a portal to a world of unknown wonders and mysteries. As he traveled further, his heart beat in sync with the camel's hooves, urging him forward. Every step brought him closer to his destiny. Finally, after months of travel, Ibn Battuta reached Mecca. As he stood in the holy city, surrounded by thousands of fellow pilgrims, he knew that this was just the beginning of his adventures. For Ibn Battuta, the Hajj was not just a spiritual journey, but a journey of self-discovery and exploration. And he was eager to see where it would take him next. Chapter 3. The Irresistible Call of the Unknown. Ibn Battuta was just a simple man from Tangier, but his heart was filled with an unquenchable thirst for adventure. He had heard tales of distant lands and exotic cultures, and he yearned to experience them for himself. And so, one day, with nothing but a few coins in his pocket and a backpack on his shoulders, Ibn set off on his journey. His first stop was Egypt. As he wandered through the bustling city of Cairo, his senses were bombarded with a kaleidoscope of sights, sounds, and smells. The minarets of the great mosques rose high above him, as if stretching towards the heavens. The bazaars were a chaotic maze of colorful fabrics, spices, and merchants haggling over prices. But most of all, it was the people that captivated Ibn. They were a melting pot of different cultures, each with their own unique stories to tell. The city of Cairo was like a living, breathing entity, and Ibn's soul ignited in its presence. He spent days exploring its winding streets, getting lost in its alleyways, and absorbing every detail. He visited the great pyramids of Giza, marveled at the Sphinx, and sailed on the Nile River. But it was the people he met that left the biggest impression on him. He met scholars who wore knowledge like embroidered robes, and even though he couldn't understand their language, their passion and intelligence spoke volumes. He encountered mystics who danced on the edge of existence, and their words of wisdom and mysticism opened his mind to new possibilities. But the Silk Road was calling him, an invisible thread connecting civilizations. And so, with a heavy heart, Ibn bid farewell to Egypt and set off on his next adventure. From Damascus to Samarkand, he rode camels, sailed does, and walked dusty trails. Each step unraveled the tapestry of the world, revealing new wonders and cultures. He encountered fierce bandits, treacherous terrain, and scorching deserts, but Ibn was unafraid. His thirst for adventure and knowledge burned brighter with each passing day. He crossed the majestic Himalayas, visited the vibrant markets of India, and even made his way to China. Everywhere he went, he was welcomed with open arms, and he left a piece of his heart in each new destination. Years passed, and Ibn Battuta's travels took him to the farthest corners of the world. But it was Egypt that had ignited his soul, and he knew that he would always carry a piece of it with him. And even though he eventually returned to his home in Tangier, he could never truly shake off the wanderlust that had taken root in his heart. Till the end of his days, Ibn Battuta remained an adventurer at heart, always yearning for one more journey, one more tale to uncover. And the minarets of Cairo continued to whisper secrets, and the bazaars hummed with stories, waiting for the next curious soul to unravel the mysteries of the world. Chapter 4. The Silk Road and Beyond. From a young age, Ibn Battuta was destined to be an adventurer. He was the son of a well-respected Muslim judge, but his heart yearned for the unknown. His eyes sparkled with excitement every time the name Silk Road was mentioned. He dreamed of the exotic lands that lay beyond his hometown of Tangier, and he knew that one day, he would set off on an adventure that would change his life forever. When he turned 21, Ibn Battuta's dream became a reality. He set off on a journey along the Silk Road, with nothing but his wits and a few coins in his pocket. The road was long and treacherous, but Ibn Battuta was determined to reach the end. He crossed deserts, mountains, and empires, facing fierce sandstorms, bandits, and other dangers. But despite the hardships, Ibn Battuta was in awe of the wonders he encountered on his journey. In Dakar, he debated with scholars under turquoise domes, expanding his knowledge and understanding of the world. In Samarkand, he marveled at the grandeur of the mosques and palaces, describing them in vivid detail in his diary. As he continued his journey, Ibn Battuta's thirst for knowledge grew stronger. In Delhi, he was amazed by the magnificent Qutb Minar, a minaret reaching towards the heavens. He was also intrigued by the diverse cultures and religions he encountered, from the Persian poetry to the Mongol horsemanship and the Sufi devotion. Ibn Battuta's journey was not just a physical one, but a journey of the mind and soul as well. He soaked up every experience, every culture, and every religion like a sponge. His ink flowed like the Euphrates as he documented his travels in his diary, which would later become one of the most famous travelogues in history. As he continued along the Silk Road, Ibn Battuta faced many challenges and obstacles, but he never gave up. He knew that his journey was not just for himself, but to show the world the wonders that lay beyond the horizon. And with his unwavering determination and insatiable thirst for knowledge, Ibn Battuta left his mark on the world. Chapter 5. The Alhambra and the Court of Granada. Ibn Battuta was an adventurous traveler from Morocco, known for his thirst for exploration and discovery. He had traveled to far-off lands, from Africa to Asia, and now he found himself in the enchanting land of Andalusia. As he stood before the majestic walls of the Alhambra, he was filled with awe and wonder. Andalusia was known as the land of oranges and echoes, and Ibn Battuta could see why. The air was filled with the sweet scent of oranges, and the walls of the Alhambra were etched with verses from poets long gone. He felt as if he had stepped into a magical realm, where the past and present intertwined. Ibn Battuta was welcomed into the court of Granada, a vibrant and diverse mosaic of cultures. He conversed with viziers, astronomers, and poets, each one sharing their unique stories and experiences. He was fascinated by the rich history and knowledge of the people of Al-Andalus. As he walked through the streets of the Albaycin, the old Arabic quarter of Granada, he could feel the echoes of the past. He traced the footsteps of Ibn al-Khatib, the poet-statesman, and couldn't help but marvel at the beauty of the medieval architecture and the intricate details of the Alhambra. As he explored the Alhambra, he was struck by its sheer beauty and grandeur. Every stone seemed to have a story to tell, and he could almost hear the whispers of the past. He stood in awe at the stunning courtyards and gardens, adorned with colorful tiles and fountains. Ibn Battuta was captivated by the beauty and diversity of Al-Andalus. From the bustling cities to the serene countryside, he experienced a land like no other. And as he sat under the jasmine-scented trees, listening to the poetry and stories of Al-Andalus, he knew that this would be a journey he would never forget. For Ibn Battuta, Andalusia was not just a physical destination, but a journey of the mind and soul. He had discovered a land where diverse cultures and traditions coexisted, where the past and present merged, and where every stone told a story. And as he bid farewell to Al-Andalus, Ibn Battuta knew that he would always carry a part of this enchanting land with him, wherever his travels may take him. Chapter 6. The Rilla. The Chronicle of Wonders. Ibn Battuta, an adventurer and a traveler, had lived an extraordinary life. He had traversed across the seas, ventured into unknown lands, and encountered various cultures and civilizations. As he neared the end of his life, he sat down to pen down his memories and experiences in his magnum opus, The Rilla. The mere thought of his journey filled his heart with a sense of nostalgia, and his quill danced across the parchment as he began to write. His ink flowed like a river, bringing to life the splendors of the cities he had visited. He wrote about the towering minarets of Baghdad, the bustling markets of Cairo, the grand cathedrals of Constantinople. His words captured the essence of these wondrous places, weaving silk and sand, ink and starlight, together. As he wrote, he reflected upon the marvels he had seen. Timbuktu's mud brick libraries, filled with ancient manuscripts and knowledge, Samarkand's azure domes, glinting in the bright sun, and Zanzibar's spice-laden winds that carried the scent of distant lands. These were just a few of the wonders that had left an indelible mark on Ibn Battuta's soul, and now, they found refuge in the pages of his book. His quill did not falter as he continued to write, chronicling his adventures and encounters with various people and their customs. He wrote about the hospitality of the Bedouin tribes, the mystical Sufi saints he had met, and the vibrant cultures of the East. His words portrayed a world that was both diverse and beautiful, a world that he had experienced firsthand. As he reached the end of his writing, Ibn Battuta knew that his Rilla would become a compass for dreamers, a lantern for seekers. He had lived a life that many could only dream of, and now, his words would inspire others to embark on their own journeys of discovery. His legacy as an adventurer and a chronicler would live on through his masterpiece, The Rilla. Chapter 7. The Legacy Unfurled. Ibn Battuta was a man who was struck by wanderlust from a very young age. He had always been curious about the world beyond his hometown of Tangier in Morocco. His father, a judge and scholar, saw this spark in him and encouraged him to pursue his dreams. And so at the age of 21, Ibn Battuta set out on a journey that would change the course of his life and leave a profound legacy for generations to come. He traveled far and wide, crossing deserts, seas, and mountains, soaking in the sights, sounds, and cultures of the distant lands he visited. His thirst for knowledge and adventure was never quenched. He explored the bustling cities of Cairo, Alexandria, and Damascus, marveled at the pyramids of Giza, and wandered through the ruins of ancient Persia. But it was in his encounter with the great explorer and scholar, Ibn Jubayr, that Ibn Battuta's true passion was ignited. Ibn Jubayr's tales of his travels to the holy cities of Mecca and Medina inspired Ibn Battuta to embark on his own pilgrimage. He eventually arrived in Mecca and fulfilled his religious duty, but he didn't stop there. He continued his journey, from the deserts of Arabia to the mountains of India, from the lush jungles of Malabar to the dazzling courts of China. Everywhere he went, Ibn Battuta left a mark. He studied law, language, and literature, immersing himself in the culture and customs of each place. He was welcomed by rulers, scholars, and common people alike, who were fascinated by his tales of far-off lands. His journey was not an easy one. He faced danger, sickness, and even shipwrecks, but he persevered. He traveled for 30 years, crossing over 75,000 miles and visiting 44 modern-day countries. His astrolabe and compass were his guide, but it was his open mind and adventurous spirit that led him to new horizons and experiences. Through his travels, Ibn Battuta became a true citizen of the world. He embraced diversity and bridged cultural divides, earning the title of the Prince of Travelers. His legacy transcended mere miles. His words and experiences had a ripple effect that would inspire explorers, dreamers, and scholars for centuries to come. Even today, his spirit dances in the whirling dervishes of Konya, the calligraphy of Fez, and the spice-laden souks of Marrakech. His name echoes in the wind that sweeps through the Sahara and the monsoons that kiss the Malabar coast. For Ibn Battuta, his journey was not just a line on a map, it was a melody, an ode to curiosity, courage, and the boundless expanse, and his legacy will continue to inspire and guide those who dare to follow in his footsteps.